What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Monday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Hope y'all had a wonderful Easter. Started my Monday off with a full-on executive physical over at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health with Dr. Kurt Chastain. So head to toe, everything, blood work, urine sample, echocardiogram, ultrasounds of my thyroid, my organs, x-ray, all of it. And I am happy to report that I am a healthy fat guy. So, despite being overweight, all my numbers, the cholesterol is a little high, but all my numbers look good. So, I guess y'all are good and stuck with me, right? But hey, man, got to be proactive about these things. Turn 40, and like Dr. Chastain likes to say, there's a few things that take us out early. It's heart disease, it's cancer, it's accident, freak accident, and then something on a left field that you can't really prepare for, but can help eliminate the heart disease and the cancer if you catch them early. So that's really the gist and the crux of what we're doing. So anyway, hopefully y'all are having a great start to your week. So we're a little late today. Obviously it's 11:13 a.m., but still morning, and happy to be here. LSU baseball still number one in the country in the D1 poll. Waiting to check all of the baseball polls. Actually coming up here in about 45 minutes from right now at noon Central. Jay Johnson's going to meet with the media, and so hopefully we get some updates on health status, Chase Shores and Garrett Edwards, how they're doing, and really what a contingency will be for for those guys if they're going to be out for any length of time. So. But D1 baseball, I'm looking up Baseball America. D1 baseball has LSU number one. Baseball America has LSU number one again this week. Florida number two, Wake 3, Vandy 4, Arkansas 5, South Carolina 6. Kentucky, who comes into the box this weekend at 10. Tennessee 12 after their impressive series win over Florida this weekend. So, but another good opportunity for the Tigers. Thank goodness that series is being played at the box, not at Cliff Hagen. I think they call the new stadium Cliff Hagen. That's what the old stadium was called. But it's a bandbox up there in Kentucky. So similar to what LSU just saw in South Carolina, but maybe even more egregious. But anyway, so I think maybe the most important thing to note is, as much as angst as we may have, you see LSU struggles, or the bullpen issues, or Thatcher Hurd, struggling in that number 3 role, all the sort of stuff, right? Lost game 1 the way that, as much as we maybe have like angst about it, the pollsters didn't ding LSU for losing 13-5 in game 1, because they could look in context and say, okay, well, Paul Skeens had struck out 8 of the 9 outs of the game were via strikeout. It was 3-1 in the 3rd inning, and then Paul Skeens is gone. And then what happened. So they didn't ding LSU for that, and the fact that LSU was down 4 runs twice in game 2, but rallied both times and came back to win it. So, you go on the road in the SEC against a top 10 team, it's going to be hard to win. And LSU split, and the pollsters didn't ding LSU for it, as they're still ranked number 1 in the country. So say a quick good morning here. Brett DeGrow, Joey Metke, good morning. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Joey. Randall Offrecht. Morning, Matt. Do you think LSU could take 2 from Florida if they played? Randall, look, man, I think LSU, okay, well, I'll give you some context. Florida's pitching staff is very good. Obviously, Sproat is one of the best pitchers in the country, and of course, they got Waldrop from Southern Miss, who LSU got to see last year, was dominant. So they, but LSU, I would take Paul Skeens over anybody on a Friday game 1. And then, do I think LSU could split games 2 and 3 with anybody in the country? I do. So yeah, I mean, yes, I think LSU could win a series against Florida. I think they could win a series against Vanderbilt. I think they win Tennessee just took 2 out of 3 from Florida, and LSU took 2 out of 3 from Tennessee. So, yeah, I mean, they're obviously capable whenever you have a guy like Skeens at the front of a rotation. Go Tigers. Good morning, Carlos Vallon. Good morning, Cody Kibido. On the bright side, the easier part of the SEC schedule is coming up. That's true. So that's the other thing that I think sometimes we might lose sight of is, by the way, I got a couple of interviews coming up this morning. I got Chuck Oliver at 11:30, so about 13 minutes on the Chuck Oliver show, and then immediately following that, I'm going on a station in New York. I guess I'll be on the Fan in New York. I don't know. They want to talk about the LSU guys in the draft potentially. So, here you go. Here's the national rankings report. Here you go. All right, LSU's number 1 in Baseball America, number 1 in D1 baseball, number 1 in Perfect Game, number 1 in collegiate baseball. So LSU's still a consensus number 1 after this weekend. You split a pair on the road against top 10 South Carolina, and that's sort of your reward. But yes, to the point about the schedule for LSU, you were front loaded. And remember, it's funny how things happen sometimes as the season goes along, because we would have looked, and I don't think we would have thought a trip to South Carolina would have been tough, but similarly, we would have looked at a trip to Ole Miss, playing Mississippi State as tough series. Well, you play Kentucky at home before the season. I don't think anybody was thinking that'd be tough. At Ole Miss, we think it would be tough, but now it doesn't look so daunting going to Oxford. So you kind of flip those two, right? You get Alabama at home, which earlier in the season was ranked. They've slid. You got to go to Auburn, which Auburn's been hot and cold, but that's certainly a winnable series on the road. And then you get Mississippi State at home. They're atrocious. And you go to Georgia, who's very bad. So yes, the schedule for LSU does lighten up considerably in the second half once you get past this weekend against Kentucky. So that is a very good point. Let's see. Brett DeGrow would love to know the details why we didn't play 2 Thursday night. Yeah, I think, that's... Look, man, I'm curious if someone would ask Jay that today. I won't be at the press conference at noon. I have 2 interviews coming up. I got to prep, but that's a very valid question. Pelicans pissed me off so much. The Pelicans blew it last night. Brandon Ingram outscored Minnesota in the first quarter. Brandon Ingram himself outscored Minnesota in the first quarter. The Pels blew it. So had an opportunity to be, with help as high as number 5. Instead, they lose their game and don't get the help they need. They drop to number 9. So the Pels scenario is they'll play at home on Wednesday. It's a late game on Wednesday against OKC, winnable game. If you win that one, then you'll play the loser of the 7-8 game, which would either be the Lakers or Minnesota. So you'll be on the road in that game. So you'll have to win a home game against OKC on Wednesday and then travel to either the Lakers or Minnesota, win that one to get in as the 8 seed. So a lot of work to do here for New Orleans. Truax, what's good, man? Larry Garner. Brett DeGrow, Tennessee lost 2 to Florida. My apologies. I think I said that backwards. Yes, my apologies. Josh Blackman, good morning. I saw where the Ravens are giving OBJ $15 million guaranteed. Obviously, you're worth what someone's willing to pay. Is that too much for him coming off of injury? For 1 year, no. If it's a 1 year proof deal, I think like Jarvis got it. Didn't the Saints give Jarvis $13 million? I think the Saints gave Jarvis 1 year. Or was it 1 year, $3 million? Hang on one second. Sorry. I think Jarvis like a 1 year, $13 million. It was 1 year, $3 million. Okay. So a guy coming off not playing 15 is a lot. Let me see if they got the terms of it. No, it's one. I saw that was 15. No, here you go. So it's 1 year. So they got he got a $13.8 million signing bonus. His base is 1.165, so they can spread out the cap hit, and then he's got $3 million in reachable incentives. So he'll make at least 13, as much as 18, depending on on the season he has. So, and the fact that they did the 13.8 as a signing bonus means they can spread that signing bonus out over multiple years as a cap hit. So instead of taking it all in 1 year, so against the cap he counts 1.1 this year. So not bad. Brian Wynn, what's going on? Taz, is LSU top 5 college sports program? If you're considering all sports, then no, because you're going to talk about some of the schools that have 40 sanctioned sports like Stanford or Texas or all that sort of stuff. So when you don't have as many sports as others, you're not going to be considered that. But if you're talking about just the majors, as far as like resources, if LSU's not top 5, it's between 5 and 10. Let's see. Let's see. Texas, this is Wall Street Journal. Texas, Ohio State, LSU's 9. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oklahoma, Auburn, LSU, Tennessee. LSU's 9. So that's about where you find them. Actually, that's been a few. That was 5 years ago. But still, they'd be somewhere in there. All right, let's see. Bird Boy, Bryce Young is beginning to trend number 1 overall. Meets with Carolina tomorrow. Get your bets in before odds go shorter. I'll tell you this. Trying to think of what I want to say. I was told a couple of weeks ago that let's say from someone very close to the situation with Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. Okay, those are the 2 quarterbacks that everyone assumes are going to go 1-2. That C.J. Stroud's people are assuming Bryce Young is going to go number 1, so that should tell you something. My guess is, I think what you sort of hear reported is that the owners and the owner Tepper and the head coach Frank Reich are in disagreement on who they want to take. And generally, the billionaire is going to get his way, and he wants Bryce Young. So I think that's how I think C.J. Stroud's camp is preparing for Bryce Young to go number 1 and C.J. Stroud to go 2 to Houston, right? Yep. Justin Clary, good morning. With Edwards' unfortunate injury, who do you think they sent in after Skeens those 6-7 innings? Depends on the game and the situation. See, again, I know I've answered this a bunch, Justin, and not necessarily, but in a variety of different ways. It's not as easy as just saying who's the guy that comes out of the bullpen, because it depends on the situation. If Skeens gives you 7 innings and you're up 9-1, then I don't care who you throw. Throw anybody out there. You know what I mean? If Skeens gives you 7 and you're in a tie ball game, Edwards might have been your stopper. We've seen Chase Shores in that role, but he's injured as well. And I think the other guy who you really trust right now who's been super effective is Griffin Herring. So Griffin Herring could be that guy. If you ask me right now, if Edwards isn't available and Shores isn't available, and I need to get one out, who am I giving the ball to? Griffin Herring. What a pretty dramatic change from what we would have said before the season, right? Anyway. All right, y'all. I'm going to bounce. Thanks for jumping aboard here. Again, I'm about to do an interview on Chuck Oliver's show. So if y'all want to listen, you can listen live at southernsportstoday.com, southernsportstoday.com, or the Southern Sports Today app. They're calling me here in a few minutes, so we'll talk a little LSU foosball with the Kang of college football, Chuck Oliver. And then I'm on at noon with it's Big Blue Kickoff. I guess this is like an official New York Giants show. It's Big Blue Kickoff. Giants.com/Big Blue Kickoff. And the mobile app. We're going to talk about draft prospects. So, anyway. Okay. Thanks for watching. Smash the like button on the way out. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe up to the channel. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Peace.